Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to step by step to apply the Rust Oleum Epoxy Shield garage door kit. As you can see behind me, I have the complete work done right there. So I also give you a quick review of what I think about the product. I will be leaving a link to all the materials that you may need to get this job done in the description box below or in the comment section. So make sure you check that out and watch this entire video before you start your project. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so here's a quick look at the finished product. As you guys can see, it looks very nice. I just need to take them blue scotch tape off. So this is the package that I used, the Rust Oleum Epoxy Shield garage floor coating kit. I got the 2.5 car garage kit, which is supposed to be enough, as they claim to cover from 250 to 500 square footage. But as you can see here, my garage is about 520 square foot, which I had to use up completely 2 full packages. So 2 kit like that. So you need 2 kit if you are doing the same size garage as me. This is a 2.5 garage floor, and it is about 520 square foot. Now it was a brand new home, so that may be the reason why the epoxy or paint sucked up, absorbed more in the concrete. Now I do want to quickly mention that it has been raining the past 3 days. Now it has been 3 days since I did this, meaning it rained literally like 3 hours after I finished painting the floor. The degree, now I was trying to look this up online and I couldn't find it anywhere, so that's also another reason I wanted to do this video. The temperature I was completing the work, it was around 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So according to the instruction in the manual, you're not supposed to do this if the temperature falls below 60 degrees. But anyway, I really wanted to get the work done, so I reached out to some of my friends that had already done this and what was their thought and things like that, because they do live nearby and their temperature is about probably the same when they did theirs. So they told me that they got theirs done when the temperature was about 50 degrees. So I went ahead and did mine. So if you're trying to figure out, see if the temperature around 50 degrees are okay, I can verify it is completely okay for now, and I will give you an update in the future. Now everything looks fine, feels fine, and everything's completely dry now. Now I also want to mention about this point. As you can see that I painted it outwards, extended out from the garage. My garage door is right here, it ends there. I went ahead and painted out here because you want it to end at kind of at a crease like this. That way it won't be lift up easily in the future. Now again, this part here was wet due to the rain, but it did end up drying just fine. So when it rains, if it ever happened to you, just don't touch it and it will dry eventually. Mine dries immediately after the rain, probably the same day after the rain, a couple hours. But just don't touch it if it happens to rain. It doesn't smear at all, as you can see. I was worried about that, but it didn't smear at all, so just don't touch it. So let's go ahead and start the first step. Alright, so the first step is actually the most important step. You have to make sure that everything is completely clean. Degrease anything if you need to. Pressure wash, mop, or sweep everything dust free completely. After that, if you have to power wash it, make sure it's dried up, and you can lay down the epoxy paint the next morning. So in my case, like I mentioned previously, this was a brand new built home. So all I really had to use was this brush broom right here to push out all the dirt and debris from the floor. But if you are doing a garage or an older one, you may have to use a degreaser or even the edge or a cleaner to clean up any grease or any dirty debris you have on your garage floor. After you make sure the floor is completely dust-free clean, you want to make sure you put the painting tape on the edges there, just like I got it. That way it doesn't smear your wall or any spots that you don't want the epoxy to touch. So I want to tape up all the garage sensor here. I kind of overdo it right there, but better safe than sorry. And if you're gonna do it like me here, I did had a piece of tape, long line, the long one right here that goes throughout the line there that I took off already since it's completely dry. And now let's go ahead and open the kit up and show you what's inside and tell you exactly what to do. All right, so inside you have 2 gallons of the base and 2 smaller cans here with the activator. These 2 little bags are the little decorative sticker, or just pretty much glossy stuff that you toss on the ground after you finish, and it'll just stay there permanently like this. As you can see, it looks pretty nice. All right, so here's the manual. You can just skip that. I'll tell you everything already. So what you're gonna do, again, you're gonna mix this small can, which is part A, called the activator, into the big can here, which is the base. You should only mix 1 gallon at a time. Don't mix all these together. It's not gonna be even. So mix this into the bigger can and then start painting and rolling the floor first. It will be very helpful if you have a second person. Once this can run a little low, the second person can start mixing this one. That way you can start painting continuously right away after this one runs out, and you know that really helps when it comes to the different shade of the ground here. That way you don't get the different shade from this drying for too long and then this wet paint going on top. You will see a shade. But even if you do have a little shade, don't worry about it, because these little decorative things right here does really cover up the shade. As you may or may not notice here, the decorative thing really cover up all the shade that I unfortunately had to run over. Okay, and lastly, inside the box you do have these 2 little bag of concrete etch. Now I did not have to use this because, like I said, brand new home, my concrete was fairly clean, and all I did was kind of clean it further. But for older garage floor, you may need to use this to clean up your concrete. It would make it a lot faster if you have a power drill and with an end that actually mix the paint for you. That speeds the process up a lot. And as indicated on the sheet of paper here, you may notice, I'll just let you know, that the colder the temperature, the longer you have to actually roll the paint down on the floor, which is good in my case. But then when it comes to the drying time also took a lot longer than it could have taken. So if your temperature where you are is about 60 to 70, you have a 2-hour window to finish. If it's 71 to 80 degrees, you have 1.5 hours to finish. And 81 to 85 degrees, you only have 1 hour to finish. So after you mix it, you're gonna want to use a hand brush like this one to actually fill in the little etch here first. That way you can start rolling afterwards. You're gonna want to start painting from the inside of the garage here. That way you'll be moving outwards and not trap yourself inside here if you were to start from the outside. So finish all the edges first and then start rolling, and it's pretty fast once you start to roll. And now, as you can see, I have about half of the garage completed. Per the instruction, they wanted you to paint a 4x4 foot space and then sprinkle the shine on top. But what I did, I went ahead and paint a 4 foot all the way from left to right. Then I sprinkled the glitter on top. After that, I moved outward, paint another 4 foot all the way from left to right, toss the shine on top, and then continue until the garage is completely done. Now, as for how I actually toss those little sprinkle shining thing, I just pretty much hold a good bit of them in my hand and kind of either toss it all the way up on top and then let it fall down onto the wet spot, or I just held it like this and kind of just toss it to the wet spot. And for these spot on near the wall here, I kind of just toss it towards the wall and hit the wall, and it kind of fall back down, bounces out.
This is how it turns out. If you like how this turned out, then you can do the exact same thing that I did. I tried not to sprinkle like down like this because it all just stuck in one spot. Let me show you an example of that. I think I actually tried that out here. And as you can see, what happened when you sprinkle like this is it just kind of all crumble into one spot. So that's what happened here. But this is what it looks like when I start to toss it. And I actually like the scattering look like this better. And the bags that came with it was more than enough. I actually have like a bag left over. But if you like it like this, then you can by all means just use a lot of them and just toss however you want to.
So after you completely finish with everything, you're gonna want to let it dry for at least 3 days before you start driving on top of it. In my case, it was a little bit different. Like I mentioned, the temperature was colder. It was below 60, about 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. And it was raining the entire next 3 days. So I had to either let it stand much longer. I'm gonna probably let it stand for 7 days just to be on the safe side before I drive my car in there. But after it completely dries, you're gonna want to kind of sweep it over again or mop it if you like to. That way, if there's any leftover, those shiny little sprinkling thing, if it didn't completely you know, stick onto the epoxy due to you sprinkling it too much, you can wash and clean that up, but you don't have to. So if you're thinking about getting this done and are debating on it, I highly recommend getting the Rust Oleum Epoxyshield done. After getting this done, no kind of liquid oil or anything like that will absorb into the floor any longer, which is definitely a plus for this. So that's pretty much it, guys. Again, I will leave everything, all the materials that you may need in the description box below or in the comment section. So go ahead and check that out. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.